I'm Martin from Bad Wolf. I was just wondering, have you guys got long in the UK? You can enjoy yourselves where you're
No, I have to be at work on Monday.
Oh, no.
And then I have the rest of the week off. I was telling someone, so it's just a stroke of bad luck. If I wasn't working on Monday, I would be here for another week for sure. Yeah.
Cynthia, you were born here, so what's it like to be back?
It's always great to be here. I love London in all its versions: gray, sunny, rainy.
Mostly rainy.
Mostly rainy.
Hi, Kareem from Metro. Cynthia, you're one of several actors to have played Amanda Waller in recent years. What is it that you specifically bring to this character?
Well, I on our version of this particular story, Arrow, that we do, I always feel like I'm one of the last to know what's going on. So my goal normally is just to kind of get the essence of Amanda Waller and try to hone in on that, because a lot of times, I'm kind of jumping into the middle of the story as they're telling it. And so, yeah, that's basically what I just try to do. I mean, there's all that rich source material to draw from, but the great thing about the show is that they're not necessarily married to, that narrative. They can kind of cherry pick and take the best bits. So, I think they always do a really good job of keeping that element of surprise for people who know the story really well. So
what is the essence of Amanda Waller?
To me, I know that a lot of people see her as a bit of a villain, and I tend not to think of her that way. I just think she's a woman who does what needs to be done, and oftentimes that's unpleasant, but someone has to make the unpleasant choices in life, so that's kind of what she's tasked with. And so yeah, I sort of see it as that, as not so much somebody who relishes doing evil things. It's just that she makes the difficult choices, and it's sort of like by any means necessary. So that's sort of my quick take on it.
Yeah, Cynthia, carrying on, you founded Suicide Squad, I know. I mean, now that we unfortunately can't see that in the TV show, what do you feel about the movie that's coming out next year?
Oh, I'll be the first in line. I can't wait. I'm like super pumped to see the movie, and of course I'm excited that Viola Davis is going to be doing her version of Amanda Waller, and I'm very honored to even be in the same company in terms of the other actresses that have portrayed that character. Angela Bassett, CCH Pounder, I hope I'm getting Pam Grier. A lot of really fierce, amazing women, and I know Viola Davis is going to knock it out of the park. So I'm going to be in line with everybody else waiting for the movie.
Cool. And Mark, we've seen a tiny bit of you so far now. It was a flashback. Mark Guggenheim said we can expect to see more of you.
Oh, good.
In the year, more of you and Deathstroke. What are the chances he'll be back, and how much more can you expect to see?
Oh man, I'd be the last to know. I think it's really lovely that with this universe, you have this wealth of characters, and so you just never know who is going to pop up or go away or return, and I also don't know that for myself. So as long as I'm alive, and you never know, a character can even, disappear and then magically reappear. So as an actor, that certainly keeps you on your toes. And, there are a handful of us that formerly worked on another show, Spartacus, and we had some fans and the producers, which we're very grateful for. So yeah, we always like to have a little reunion if our paths ever cross. But yeah, we'll see.
I'm Jen from Sci-Fi Now. For Iris's character, she's kind of really coming out on her own. At the moment, we're going to see more of her as a reporter, and what is it like to play a female character who is not defined by the relationship that she has with the main male character?
We will see more of that, hopefully, in this season. I will say we haven't shot too much of that yet. If you've watched, I don't know where you guys are. Have you seen 3?
3's on Tuesday.
So 3 on Tuesday. You definitely get to see Iris kind of be a badass reporter. So I think it's a tease of what's to come for Iris later in the season. I'm always advocating and hoping for more of that because that's kind of how we know Iris in the comic books is this kind of ace, badass reporter. So I just don't know when that's going to kick into full gear, but what I've always loved about Iris is for her as a character, we see the slow burn of her evolving as a woman. You know, she hasn't, season 1, she wasn't perfect and she didn't have everything together. And so it's nice to see a woman kind of evolve on screen. And your other question, which was...
what's it like to be a female character that exists outside of a relationship with the male counterparts?
Yeah, it's actually quite nice, and I'm kind of always fighting it in the fandom and reporting world. You know, I think people are always wondering, when is Iris going to get with Barry? When is that going to happen? And I'm always saying, you know, we as women and as characters are so much more than the men that we are associated with. And so I'm constantly trying to advocate that for Iris. Hey, it would be great to see her with Barry because that's kind of an iconic couple, right? So it's really fun that that's a possibility for our show. But what I get excited about is her agency in life and what she can contribute to Team Flash. You're welcome.
Sorry. There you go.
Thank you. Hello, welcome to London. Colin from the DCU show on Sky Vision, Sky TV. We have two very strong role models and two very strong characters in front of us. Do you ever foresee your characters working together in some way in the future?
In the DC
In the
TV
greater
world?
DC TV universe, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, anything's a possibility with these shows, especially with Legends of Tomorrow coming, the crossovers that we've already seen. Anything is possible. And I think that's what's so great about Andrew, Mark, Greg, Jeff Johns. I don't know. I think it would be great.
That would be great.
I don't know much about Arrow. I've just started kind of watching every Wednesday night. I happen to be off on Wednesdays lately, and so I'm just starting to get into it. It'd be cool. I don't know how our characters would interact, but
Yeah, if you have any ideas, you know.
yeah, some
That's
sort
great,
out
yeah.
there.
Let's get some. Can I also ask, well, we've got the mic, were you fans of the comic books and you were aware of the greater world before you came to the TV roles that you're playing?
I mean, for me, I had a really kind of casual relationship with comic books, you know, and what's really been wonderful to be part of a show like this is gives you that opportunity to explore those stories that are so rich that maybe you weren't familiar with, and also just get to know this incredible fan base. I mean, it's really astonishing to me to witness these sort of Comic-Cons as they've really grown and evolved, and it kind of, I think, speaks to the power of these stories. I mean, comic books have been around for a very long time, obviously, and, you know, at their best versions, they can really take advantage of just great storytelling and kind of focusing on larger themes. And so, yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like the possibilities are endless with comic book universes when they're done well. So I certainly appreciate it a lot more now that I'm working, you know, on something like this.
Candice?
Yeah, comic books in terms of the actual comic. No, I didn't grow up with those. They weren't really available to me. But I did grow up loving, you know, Saturday morning cartoons, so I was very familiar with Batman, Superman. Huge Batman fan. I've seen every Batman movie. I love Batman. So I was very familiar with this kind of comic idea, but I didn't know much about the Flash. I'd never read a Flash comic book. And so when I started to do that, and I still do it now to this day, we kind of keep the Flash comics, my makeup artist keeps them on her table so that when I'm getting ready I can kind of flip through. It's still surreal because Iris is white and like I'm reading these stories and I'm like, wait, that's me. And it's a really cool thing because as a kid when I'm watching Batman or Superman and I'm watching the Lois Lanes and the Vicky Vales, it was never an imagining that I would ever get to play that ingenue. So it's cool that that's happening and a lot of girls are watching that and are inspired. It's cool.
Thank you very much.
Dr.
We have to
No?
stop, I'm afraid,
Thank you very
but
much for your time.
thank you very much for your
Yeah,
help.
thanks, guys.